This was the most intense interview ever. The moment the candidates received their test papers, they all froze in place. It was actually a blank sheet of paper with nothing on it. Everyone looked at each other, full of confusion, but no one dared to make a sound. Just before the exam officially began, the examiner coldly announced 3 absolute rules. No speaking to the examiner or the security guard, no leaving the room, no damaging the test paper. Breaking any one of these rules would lead to immediate disqualification. And there was only one answer to this interview. Best of luck, ladies and gentlemen. As those words hung in the air, the examination hall fell into dead silence. The first rule felt like an iron curtain had dropped. No one dared to speak. Seeing that no one responded, the examiner expressionlessly started an 80-minute countdown and left the room. Staring at the blank paper in front of them, everyone was at a complete loss. No one knew what the questions were, let alone the true intention behind this test. Landing this job with an yen 800,000 annual salary was clearly not going to be easy. As time ticked away, the tension in the room became almost unbearable. Finally, one female candidate couldn't take it anymore. She guessed that the company might want them to write a professional report, so without hesitation, she started writing. But before she could even finish her first sentence, the examiner suddenly returned, wordlessly escorted her out of the room. The reason was clear. She had broken the 3rd rule, damaging the test paper. Watching someone get disqualified for writing, the other candidates quickly put down their pens, too afraid to act rashly. Amid the standoff, a fair-skinned male candidate suddenly let out a light laugh. He realized that the examiner had only stated 3 prohibitions, so as long as he didn't break those, did that mean everything else was allowed? To test this bold theory, he turned and greeted the bearded man next to him. Sure enough, the security guard didn't interfere. The rules only banned talking to the examiner and the guard, but said nothing about speaking among candidates. Emboldened by this first success, the man grew even more daring. He stood up outright and began walking freely around the examination room. To everyone's surprise, the guard still didn't react. Seeing that his actions weren't being stopped, the other candidates finally started talking too, discussing what secrets the blank paper might hold. Then a long-haired woman stood up and suggested maybe the test paper was made of special material and the questions would appear under certain light. Everyone thought that made sense, so they tried shining phone lights and reflecting light onto their papers. But unfortunately, nothing changed. A male candidate with darker skin speculated maybe it needed ultraviolet, infrared, or even X-ray light, but there was no equipment like that in the room. Just as everyone was sinking into frustration again, a blonde woman noticed the emergency light on the wall. Could that be the key? The fair-skinned man immediately shattered the light cover, plunging the room into darkness as the emergency light flickered on. Excited, they held their test papers up to the light, but still, nothing appeared. The bearded man thought maybe it was the wrong type of light. Perhaps there were other hidden light sources. A girl with glasses keenly noticed another unlit light tube embedded in the wall. Without hesitation, they broke all the emergency lights, and suddenly, an orange glow filled the room. Yet the test papers remained blank. By now, only 60 minutes remained. The fair-skinned man still refused to give up. He took the disqualified woman's test paper, vigorously shaded it with a pencil, then even tore it in two, giving one half to another male candidate to test with saliva, and the other half he used urine. The paper was nearly destroyed, but still, no questions appeared. That's when they noticed a bespectacled man who had been sitting quietly all along. He never stood up, never spoke, but as everyone gathered around him, he uttered something cryptic. In fact, in that moment, he had unintentionally revealed the key, but no one understood him. The fair-skinned man finally snapped. He yelled that this was all a scam. The company used the high salary as bait, just to mess with the candidates. But the girl with glasses strongly disagreed. She had done her research beforehand, and this company was all about efficiency. They wouldn't waste time on something so pointless. They were genuinely desperate to find talent, to determine the next 80 years of your lives. The examiner's words echoed in the air, and everyone slowly regained their composure. Since all previous methods had failed, maybe the key was the security guard by the door? The rules forbade talking to the guard, but they said nothing about touching him. With that thought, one female candidate didn't hesitate. She reached out toward the guard,